Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back again to Track 2. My name is John Wee, your host for Track 2 on Big Data Days 2024. Today, we are very honored to have Irvin Hoh to actually tell us, or should I say, explain to us how do we humanize the way that we communicate and present data. This is a very important topic in the sense that Irvin is going to take us through some of his secret tactics, or should I say technique. How can we actually do that storytelling? So seriously pay attention, yeah? All right. Hi, Irvin. How are you doing today? You good?
Hello, Jamie. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Right. So I'm going to hand you over to this topic because this is actually a very interesting topic per my point of view because we are not talking about data. We're talking about how do we make data come alive with your storytelling technique and how do you should actually present it based on your expert knowledge. Right. Irvin, I'm going to hand over the session to you.
Sure. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jamie. And hello, everyone. Welcome back to these sessions. I will be sharing about the topic regarding how to humanize the way we communicate and present data. Let's start off with this. No matter what profession you are in, you have probably encountered the phrase, the data speaks for itself. But does it really? Or is it because there are something that makes the data speaks? Well, let me introduce myself first. My name is Irvin Hoh. I am not a data scientist. I don't have any data analytics background, but I am passionate in presentation, meaning that I like to design presentations. I like to play around with data and visualize data. Why? My previous role as a business management consultant, and I'm an ex-business management consultant, and I work in a lot of public and private sector, and give me the passions in designing slides, right? So the passions also turn it into a training module that has been trained throughout all the major organizations in Malaysia and internationally. Right? Throughout my experience in designing slides and presentations, I recently compiled my knowledge into a book, and it is available in all the major bookstores, and you can even grab a copy in Amazon and Google Play Books. Right. And also, I understand that I give out 2 free copies for those winners for the questions. Right. Now, come back to today's topic. Does data really speaks by itself? It doesn't. Right. Why I say so? Based on the experience of dealing with data a lot and presenting with data a lot, well, let's look in some reality. Yeah. Sometimes we might just crunch the numbers and create some charts based on any platform, any software, like for example, Excel or whatsoever. And most likely people might just copy and paste the chart and just present it in such. Or even sometimes just chart alone, one data set not enough. They might even need to compare like group A and group B to compare the team performance. Okay, seems like we get something behind it, but not there yet. Perhaps some of the audience still want to know what are the differences between group A and group B. Is there any performance issues that we can look into? Well, okay, the chart can see something. Well, some of them are requesting us to put in some data labels also, but not enough. Some audiences still want to look at some tables that at the below of the chart. And you see on and off reality. Look at all these charts. Can anyone tell me what they are supposed to communicate? It seems confusing, right? That's because data alone doesn't communicate effectively. Even we turn the data and numbers into a chart. It is up to us to shape these numbers into a narrative that speaks clearly to our audience. Well, when we rely on the phrase, the data speaks for itself, we make several assumptions. We assume others see and understand data as we do, and that they care about these numbers as much as we do. Well, but these assumptions can be misleading. Why? This underscores our critical responsibility as a presenter, especially presenting data. It is not enough to present data. We must communicate its significance clearly and compellingly. We need to present it in a way that the meaning can be reviewed out. Because every slides that we are presenting, it is not about the numbers and the data. It is about the meaning of the data that we want to convey. Yeah. Looking at all these slides. So how, right? It is too messy. It is too confusing until our audience can't get what message that we want to convey. Let's take a look for this chart as an example. Although it is full of details, some might say, oh, very good chart because I can see everything. I can see all the regions for WinCorp regional revenue shares by over time for the period of 3 years. Well, it is good as a raw data, as an information, but it is not good for someone who would like to know more insights behind this data, right? So now let's take a look what happens if we make over this chart. Don't be surprised, it is the same data set, but the only thing that this version of chart, we have did something on it. What we have done, notice how thoughtful the presentation changes the way we perceive and understand the numbers now. By looking at this chart, comparing to the previous chart, you right away can understand what is the message that we want to convey. This is not just about making data pretty. It is about making it accessible, understandable, and actionable. Yeah, this is where the art of presenting data comes in. It is not just copy and paste the chart, but putting an effort in getting the message and showing the message out. Same goes to all these charts, right? Once you look at it, you can identify what is the message that we want to convey. So what makes them different? What makes them different? Let's us explore how to transform a raw data into a powerful story. Yeah. In order to humanize, to master the art of humanizing the way we communicate and present data, we focus on 3 key approaches. And I use that a lot when I want to present data and I want to crunch the data and the numbers and then make it into a presentable charts. Each of them serve a specific functions in making our data not just seen, but understood and impactful. So the 3 approaches are, firstly, create a narrative. Secondly is keep the chart simple and readable. And thirdly is make it insightful and engaging. Well, let us deep dive into the first approach, which is creating a narrative. Well, based on the chart, the example that we are using right now, WinCorp regional revenue shares by region over time, by looking at this chart, we can't convey the message in until we really look into the context of this data set to direct our audience to the context that we want to convey in our communication. So how to find the context usually? Finding the context, it is just asking questions with the data set that we have. Take an example, right? For example, in this chart, we can ask a lot of questions. One of it like, which market segment contributed the most, right? Looking at the trend, looking at the regional market shares, well, with these questions, perhaps we can find some answer from the chart. Well, the answer is, right, Thailand is the dominant region in terms of revenue shares for WinCorp regional's revenue shares over here. Yeah. So also Thailand market share is maintaining the highest position throughout the period of 3 years. So this is one of the message perhaps we can pick it up and then to be presented. Well, other than that, perhaps also maybe we want to look into which market segment has potential growth. But then the message will be different if we ask different questions, right? So if we want to look at it like which market segment has the potential growth, definitely looking at the chart, Malaysia's revenue spiked in the last 2 quarters, which is most likely on track to overtake Thailand's market as WinCorp's largest market, right? But then, okay, fine. How about the other three regions? Well, just ask another questions to find out, right? Which market segment seems not to be growing? Well, it's very obvious that the Singapore, Indonesia, and Vietnam market for WinCorp, right, demonstrated stable revenue, although it's stable revenue, but there is no significant growth over 3 years. So you see that it is about the context that we want to find the message that can able to direct it to our audience to understand better. On top of the chart, we need to convey the message. Yeah. Let's say, for example, okay, I choose this as part of my focus for my audience to understand that there is a potential growth. Well, so the second tip is that how to create a narrative for a chart that can communicate well. We have to use a title to convey the understanding of the message. Well, just replace the messaging as part of the title. So by replace the part of the title, it gives an overview of the message for our audience to understand. But now we have a chart that conveys the message. However, the visual is not supporting the chart. Whoever read the title might get a bit confused when they look at the chart because the chart is not supporting the messaging, and yet the chart is look overwhelmingly busy and burdening our audience brain process. Don't you think so? It's like when you look at the chart, wow, it's like too many unnecessary things, and also it's too busy, right? Okay, now this will bring us to the second approach, which after getting the narrative, now how to keep the chart simple and readable and focus with the message that we want to convey. Come back to this chart. When we look at this chart, yes, we have the message, but we have to redesign the focus by improving the chart formatting and styling in order to support the key message that we want to deliver. Let us look at the makeover chart. You see the difference? The before the chart looks a bit busy. What happened is that we make over the chart by putting some formatting and styling on the chart that brings out the focus. Let us revisit and see what have we done. Looking at this chart, the same data set as just now, we have cleaned the chart so that the visuals now supporting the message. What have we done? Remove any unnecessary elements. For a chart that we create through any of the software, let's say, for example, Excel chart, normally there's a lot of unnecessary things that might make the chart looks cluttered and also busy. One of it like grid lines, borders, backgrounds, markers, and special effects, right? All these things basically are not really needed for a chart unless intentionally we need those on our chart. So take it out. So make it clean and clear it off from the chart. And the second thing you look at this chart, what we have done, we apply design principles. Yes, we are not designers, I know, right? Not all of us being trained with creative background or designing background, but it is good to know some design principles, as in like the color usage, the contrast, the size, the space that help us to gain back the focus and the attention for our audience on the chart. So what have we done for this step is that we downplay the supporting element, as in like the supporting element where we reduce the color. Because the message is focusing on Malaysia and Thailand market share. That's why if you look at it, Singapore, Indonesia, and Thailand, we have reduced the focus by playing around with the supporting color, dim it down, making it look subtle, right? So those are the things that we need to downplay, which is not supporting the, not being the main character in the messaging. We have to downplay it so that it doesn't confuse our audience. So let's look at the third things that we have done for this particular chart. put things together to enhance cohesion. Meaning what? Do you see that the label, it is being put side by side with the line, and also the color is being changed according to the line color. For the text, like Thailand is blue, Malaysia is green. Why? Because we want to, connect the understanding by visually connecting the understanding by using the proximity and similarity approach. Meaning that if the word put together with the line, people know that this is connected, right? And then the color make them understand that the line is represented with the wordings next to it. So these are the few things that we use to redesign the focus to improve the chart by formatting it and making it, a bit styling lah. Yeah. Now, the chart could be simple and readable. By now, some of you agree that, wow, okay, it looks clean, it looks neat. However, it still lack of something. What is the thing that is lack of? Where is the focusing of the messaging, right? It is still lack of a narrative to highlight and reinforce back the message. We found the message, but we want to show the message. This will bring us to the third approach, which in the third approach, we want to see how to make the chart or how to make it insightful and engaging. Well, from the chart that we have already stripped off most of the thing and then enhance the focus and the look, now is the time to put back, because the previous approaches is take out unnecessary thing a lot. But now in these particular steps, we want to make the insights visually consumable. In order to make it visually consumable, we have to put back some important elements into the chart. So let's take a look the before and the after. Can you identify some simple changes or some simple additional things on the chart? Right. With these simple additional things on the chart, it allows us to understand better. Let me guide you through. What are the things that we have added onto the chart? A messaging text box, which is also called a call out text, to reinforce back the messaging, the insights, right? Add key highlights and connect it to the chart. Sometimes people like to put key highlights at the bottom of the chart or at the side of the chart, but it is advisable if can tie the key highlights to the chart by inserting it near to the point that we are talking about, right? So this will give a descriptive text to support the data narrations. Yeah. So the next thing that we have added on to the chart in order to bring understanding for our audience, it is to overlay visual annotations on the chart. Visual annotations meaning that the additional informations that we put it on the chart to enhance or to lead to quicker processing of the point we are making, so that when the audience look at that annotation, they straight away can process their understanding easily. Good. So until now, the chart could be understandable, clean, and also consumable, meaning that the insights is visually seen. But there is one little thing that we want to enhance for this chart. Well, the chart may be effectively showing the insights right now, but we could enhance it by putting some visual appeal, meaning that how to make it look more visually appealing by additional visuals element such as some icons, some flags, some graphics, and the like. So what we have simply put in some visuals over here to make the chart visually appealing. And if you can notice, just a small little touch up to put some relevant graphics to enhance the visual appeal. This will allow to create interest by incorporating graphics such as icons, flags, logos, product trademarks, or whatsoever to make the chart looks more engaging and attractive. Yeah. Don't overdoing it, but a simple one will do. A simple one will do. All right. Okay. So this is the whole process of getting the chart to be more humanizing in communicating the numbers and data. Let us look for some examples, different examples, and you see that how this can transform a chart into a more messaging chart. Let us look at this example, a simple example, right? Don't complicate ourselves, right? Here, 2019 customer satisfaction. Let's say you are about to present this chart. Well, if you are just copying and paste this chart and present it in such a way, your audience will look blank because they don't know, they don't understand what are we supposed to convey in this chart. First thing first, get the message. Still remember, create a narrative. What do we want to talk about in this chart? Well, there are many things that we can talk about. We can talk about something not good or something good. When we talk about something not good, perhaps like this particular period of time, the customer satisfaction rate is not performing well. Or we can talk about something good, which is at the last quarter of the year, it suddenly improved so much. Well, let's make it that we want to tell something good news, right? Tell good news to our audience. I want to focus on quarter 4 because quarter 4 improved a lot in our customer satisfaction. Now, what we can do, once we got the message, clean the chart. Still remember, make the chart looks clear and clean and tidy and neat. Delete all the unnecessary thing. Grid lines, borders, backgrounds, all those might not be needed. And then also bring the data label near to the data point. As you can see right now, I can straight away refer to the percentage instead of referring to the y-axis just now. Yeah. Now, the chart is clean. Let's put the message. Put the message as the title. The title said, staff upskilling exercise has boosted customer satisfaction in quarter 4. Indeed, yes, quarter 4 is improved a lot. But, however, the message is clear. How about the chart? The chart is not supporting the message. The chart still looks like a default looking chart. So what do we need to do is to enhance and format the chart so that the chart is supporting the message. Because we are talking about quarter 4, that's why I want to downplay other quarters and bring out the enhance the look for quarter 4 so that whoever look at this chart, they can straight away draw the focus onto quarter 4. And not just that, we add on additional things called annotations. You remember the 3X. It is to allow our audience understand that not just improve. In quarter 4 alone, we have, tripled the percentage rate. Right? So you see the before and after, what we have done basically, we have created the narrative by applying to the title so that it creates an active headlines for our audience to understand what we are presenting. We have cleaned the chart to show the data to support the title or the headlines. We have also adding some little callouts to reinforce the messaging. And also we apply design principles like color and the contrast in order to draw the focus to the areas that we want to talk about. So you see, just a simple touch, it makes big difference before and after, right? Don't you agree with me? Right? So that is how we apply the technique in bringing out the message out. Let's see a few more examples, then you will understand better. Yeah. Any one of you like to use pie chart? Right? Especially 3D pie chart. Well, we try to avoid 3D pie chart. So after this session, I think all of you will try to change other chart type. Don't use 3D pie chart anymore. 3D charts, especially 3D chart. 3D chart is very confusing. Why? Looking at this data set, right? Do you notice that services 11%, transportation also 11%? but the chart area give us some confusion. Whereas the services, this portion looks smaller, this portion looks bigger. Your audience might be challenging you. Hey, is it something wrong with the data or is it something wrong with the visual? Well, 3D charts always has a perspective. Anything at the back looks smaller, anything in front looks bigger. That's why it tweaks our illusion. So turn it to 2D chart. Most of the time, we are not necessary to have 3D charts in business or any corporate presentation. We turn it to 2D charts. But pie chart, it is not a good chart to use unless intentionally we want to use it. Why? Because there are a few criteria in using pie chart. Firstly, I say already, no 3D pie chart. Secondly, it is always make sure that total up your pie chart must be 100%. No doubt that you can create 120, 200, 300 percentage also able to create a pie chart, but it doesn't make sense. A pie is a full pie, make sure it's 100%, right? And thirdly, make sure the slices are ordered in a way that largest to smallest, smallest to our largest in a clockwise or anti-clockwise. Yeah. And also include the category labels in the chart. Don't make them refer to the legend. And lastly, this is the most important when you want to use pie chart. The pie segment or slices should be between 3 to 5 slices. Chances are if your pie is having more than 5 slices, the pie will look busy and cluttered. So what is an alternative chart for a pie chart? Turn it to bar chart. Bar chart is a chart that can help us, an alternative chart to pie chart. So convert into bar chart. Once you look at the bar chart, well, if the bar chart is a categorical content, we always encourage to arrange it either in a descending or ascending order. Now, after you have this chart, what is the message that we want to bring up? All right. So now identify the message. Perhaps maybe I can talk about the top 3, the bottom 3, or maybe the top performers or the low performers or whatsoever. Or if it's in a percentage like this, I can even cut off with certain percentage. Let's say half, 50%. Well, in this chart is clearly showing these two segments, healthcare and retail, contribute more than half of the total allocation, right? So the chart is supporting the message. Well, it is good enough, but not yet until we enhance it a bit by adding a little visual element such as icon and also some annotations to enhance the understanding. Now, if you compare the before and the after, do you see the difference? Right? The before chart looks so default looking, which doesn't brings the message out. The chart that we have made over, it is clearly bringing the message out. Even you never standing in front to present this chart, if you just send this and email this chart out for your audience for whoever that is looking at this chart, they can roughly understand what is the message that we want to convey. As opposed to you send this chart, that person who is receiving your emails or your reports, they have no idea what we are talking about. Don't you agree with me? Yeah? Okay, let's quickly look for a few more others examples. Like for example, sometimes this chart, line chart. Well, if we just present a line chart like this talking about sales revenue 2019, is very boring. Not just boring, it is not clear of what is the intention or what is the message we want to deliver. So first thing first, look for the message. The message is very clear, right? Looking at the chart, seems like there is something happened in April that suddenly make the whole sales revenue surge up that much. So now that is the message I want to hold on to and convert this chart to support it. Now, make the chart visible as in like I want to show the particular period of time that has surged up so much. And then I replace the title to be a more messaging headlines in order to bring the message out. And also we have added on a little bit of things, like for example, some key visuals, some shapes, some points to show where is the breaking points and the like. So you see the whole chart let people know that the revenue surge since the launch of cloud platform. When is it launched? It's in April for that particular year. That's why it surged up all the way to 160 million, and it is equivalent to 433% improvement. So you see the chart before and after. It is very obvious, and the message is very clear, not just by telling it out, but also showing it out visually. Yeah. Let's see some example, perhaps like this table. Table format looks very boring. Convert it into a more visually appealing that supports the message that we want to bring out. Good, right? Like some chart like this, bar chart look like so boring, so dry, and convert it into a key visual like this. Okay, so let us recap what we have. I have shared with you. A chart is just a chart. It is up to us to bring out the message and show the message out. How? Firstly, create a narrative by directing your audience to the context that you want to convey in your communication. And also use that message as part of the title and the key highlights in order to bring understanding to your audience. So once you have created a narrative, now is the time to clean the chart to support your messaging by simplifying it and making it readable. How? Remove unnecessary things, downplay any supporting element, show what is needed in a close proximity. After you have cleaned the chart to make it simple and readable, it's the time to bring out the insights by showing it out and making it engaging. How? Make insights visually consumable by adding annotation, by adding call out, text box, or whatsoever. And also making the chart visually appealing by adding a simple icons, logos, flags, trademarks, or whatsoever. This will make the whole chart looks better, right? Now, this chart alone is just bringing out the data and the numbers to be shown. In reality, in any presentation, we are more than just presenting data. Don't you agree? Just chart alone cannot present anything. So typically in the whole organizations, we are not just presenting technical paper, analytical reportings, or budget reporting, financial update whatsoever, right? Those are really data driven. That's why we need to humanize the data. But at the other extreme, there are some presentations might not necessary to have data or numbers to be supported. These are called conceptual presentation, which something like your pitch deck, your town hall deck, your marketing plan, your business plan, and your project kickoff and the like. These we need to design effectively to bring out the key message. Well, so what makes an impactful presentation other than presenting data? It is the information. If you are just presenting informations with just a table like this, it is not effective, it is not engaging. So I consider this as level 1, meaning that people are just copy and paste everything very heavy in text, bullet points, paragraph of words, everything just dump on a slide. Well, let's see. Bring the level up by just tweaking it, making it simple, enhance the visual by simple visual elements like icon. This will bring the effectiveness higher. This will bring the engagement higher. So some of you might consider this level is good enough, right? Not until you see level 3. Level 3 is a slide that, wow, it is not just about the message and the look and the feel. It is about the experience of people looking at these slides to bring higher engagement and attractiveness and to bring higher effectiveness. Yeah. So this is why slides design, not just about data, but information, how to humanize and how to communicate it even better. Let's see some further example. Like, for example, mostly people like to put a lot of bullet points, bullet points, bullet points. Well, yeah, it's a bit boring. Let's enhance it. Cut short the sentences, bring out the key focus and the key understanding. How to do that? Now there's a lot of AI can help us, right? Even you just copy the whole sentence and drop it into ChatGPT and ask to cut it short and make it more concise, you can get the answer, right? So this is very helpful. Well, after you cut it short, but now let's enhance it a bit. By just text alone, not enough. We need to engage. To engage our audience, we need visual elements in order to bring the balance between the boring stuff and the exciting elements. This is where experience comes out to make people interested on your content. Right? Let's see some more others, like for example here, bring it here, and bring it here. Right? There is some technique. There is some technique that we can convert, not just chart, but also information like this. Well, all this, I put it as slides with impact, not just about data, but also about informations, how to humanize, how to make it effective. Yeah. With all this, basically is being condensed into the knowledge of me putting into the book of sticky slides. Right? If any one of you interested to learn about how to make those slides, right, do get a copy. The website is there, thestickyslide.com. And also I have given out some copies complimentary free for those winners who managed to answer all the questions. Later, the organizer will announce who is the winner, right? With that, thank you very much. I hope that you enjoy and learn something and take away some nuggets in my sessions. Thank you very much. My name is Irvin Hoh. Thank you.
Wow, that is so much stuff in that short presentation. Irvin, I think you have really shown us how we can really transform a text-based, right, traditional or even a simple chart to make it so much more impactful. Thank you so much for that. We do have a lot of questions in the Q&A, so I'm going to perhaps pick a few of them. We are running short of time. Let's see if we can just take a few. First one, let me just project this. So this is from Ryan. So Ryan is asking, while humanizing the data presentation is crucial for the engagement, how can we ensure a balance between the emotional connection and data accuracy? So I think that's the first part of the question. And can we have data visualization technique be leveraged to achieve this kind of a balance? Well, Irvin, could you share your thoughts on this?
Sure. All right. Thank you with the questions, Ryan. Right. It's kind of good and quite an interesting questions to see that how to connect the emotions and the accuracy of data. Why? When we talk about the emotion and the accuracy of data, first thing first is that what do you want to convey? Right. If you want to convey something that is positive, definitely the emotion is high up, right? The only thing is that if you want to convey something negative, that is something very concerning. Why? The emotion is different, right? Especially when you convey something negative, people might be querying you that is your data accurate or not, because they need justification, right? So first thing first, you have to understand what is the perspective that you are looking into in conveying the message, right? So now, the second part is much on how to tweak it to bring the emotion back to balance. Yeah, there are many techniques. Well, visualization is one of the technique, but another technique is much on the soft skill of the presenter, which I will not touch upon it in this particular session because that much more on your public speaking soft skill part, right? Emotionally, that we can bring to balance it, like for example, the design technique, as in like the color you use. in order to make them so-called not really focus on something that is we don't want to convey, right? We are focusing something that we want them to know, so that indirectly we tweak their visuals to only focus something that's supposed to concern only. Those things that are not concerning, those things that are bringing negative emotions, we try to
Right.
subdue it. Yeah, that is my short answer to this. Yeah, thank you.
Right. So we need to be very conscious on the context that we are trying to explain or sending the message across to the
Yes,
audience, right?
indeed.
Okay, interesting. Never thought about that.
Mhm.
Right. Let's move to a second question. This is from one of the audience. Let me project the question. This is from our audience, Angel. So the question is, what is a common misconception in this specific area when we try to humanize the things that we're trying to present?
All right, I see. The common misconception is that people think that it is too fanciful to have such a slides, right? And people thought that we put a lot of efforts in designing that charts, changing the charts, adding some icons and those things, right? There's a lot of misconception. People thought that, wow, you spend a lot of time to beautify these slides.
Right.
Actually, it is not, right? If you know the technique, a simple chart can be tweaked within minutes. You don't need to take so long. Yeah, that is some misconception that we need to convey, because when management, higher management people look at this chart, they thought that you have so much time. Might as well you spend your time in doing more valuable things, right? So this is some misconception that we need to tweak. We need to let them understand. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Great. I think that's a very good answer. I think that's a common thing, because if I didn't know the technique, I think definitely it would have taken quite a lot of time. But Irvin, I think you made it so simple, so easy to so-called focus on the key area, right? Let's take one more question before we get to the winners of the book itself. So here is another question here, which is quite interesting. I'm projecting it out now. It's from Katina. She's saying that I'm quite a minimalist, so I like to make my slides as simple as possible. So in this case, what is too simple in your opinion? This is a tricky one.
Very tricky, right? Thank you, Katina, for the questions. And yes, it is quite subjective, right? It is something about beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Simple also something very subjective. Some might see it simple is good enough, but some see it simple as in not enough, right? So we have to balance it. First thing, you have to understand your audience, whether your audience is the type that straight to the point or they need details, right? There are simple way, as in like when you know the characteristic of the person or the whoever that receiving your reports or your slides, right? So if you know that the person is straight to the point, we make it simple. For the person that really needs details, we make it complicated, right? So that we balance it lah. So to cater to them, yeah.
Right. I think that's a very good advice, Irvin, in that sense. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. In that sense, allow me to quickly share. Again, we want to thank you again, Irvin, for sponsoring the giveaway prize of your book called Sticky Slides. In that sense, we really want to thank you for that. Now, we do have what we call some lucky audience, or should I say participants, who actually have won the prize for your donation or sponsorship. Allow me to introduce who they are. First one is Mr. Lam Nguyen from Vietnam. Yay! Well done.
Ooh,
Thank you, Irvin, for that. And next, we have Pricha Chai, who is from Malaysia. So two of our lucky winners have actually won a book. Not to worry, our back-end team will be reaching out to you to actually get in touch to send you the books itself, courtesy of Irvin. Irvin, thank you so much for your generous sponsorship here. Hope these two, what we call participants, will put the book into good use and improve. Like I said, actually, I've learned a lot of techniques from you, Irvin. There's so much so-called tips and tricks, right, to make things visually more impactful. Again, quickly coming up next on the hour, on track one, we do have Susanna Hicks as well as track 2, Joyce Avilia, on 2 very interesting topics as well. Again, Irvin, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us today. I mean, it was so impactful. And like I said, it just makes me want to grab a copy of that book as well, right? And you have that on Shopee Malaysia as well. Yep, we'll definitely look out for that.
Sure.
Thank you, Irvin.
Right. Thank you very much.
And we wish you all the best again
Thank
in
you.
your area.
Thank
all right.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this wonderful session. We hope to see you again in the next session soon. Thank you, Irvin. Bye.